kettle sighs, a snake of steam that curls around the blind. We tie our mourning loosely, leave the tangled night behind. Your hair is river midnight, comb left in a gentle bind. I drink the hush between your words and taste the tender kind. The tablecloth is linen with a ring where tea once bled. I trace it like an omen, like a halo that has fled. You butter toast with patience, every motion like it said. That love is how we memorize the smallest daily thread. We talk about the fairy and the fog that eats its horn, how seagulls steal the breakfast from the suits who look forlorn. I tuck a spoon inside your palm to tempt the gray from morn, and let its silver belly be the mirror love has worn. A neighbor drags recycling down the staircase like a hymn. The bottles clink like wedding bells we never planned to ring. You kiss the bit of honey at my lips' unruly brim, and promise I can keep it when the day grows tall and dim. The clock pretends to yawn, the street exhales a buzz. We fold the night like napkins that remember both of us. Tie silk knots at dawn and speak a pledge without a fuss. I'd live in this small kitchen if the world would just discuss. We tie another simple knot and let the kettle steam. The spoon becomes a metronome to pace a gentler dream. Your smile is linen sunshine on a cupboard's quiet gleam. We sign the day with patience like a seam to hold the seam. We latch the window carefully and scatter crumbs for grace. Your coat sleeves make a harbor where my hands can find their place. Daybreak draws a map of us across the cupboard face, and breakfast learns our history in the quiet, steady pace. The beach is made of silver when the winter dims the noon. I wear your coat and stockings underneath the salt blue moon. The gulls arrange like orchestras, the water hums a tune. We walk the pier with hands that hold the ache of quickened June. Your laughter is a scarf that saves my shoulders from the chill. We trace our names with driftwood and pretend that time is still. I kiss the salt from collarbones and make the ocean spill. A whisper only lovers and the patient clams can fill. A lighthouse blinks its eyelid like a tired party host. We drink from thermos coffee like a sacramental toast. You say that love is tidal, that surrender feels the most when low tide shows the treasures that the moon forgot to boast. We spread a coat upon a bench and let the wind be rude. You tucked my hair behind my ear the way the brave have sued for tenderness in weather that the city misconstrued. Low tide in lingerie and nothing to intrude. By dusk the ferry writes a line of pearls across the sound. We fold the map of footprints where our promises were found. The cold makes saints of wardrobes and of every careful bound. We carry heat between us like a contraband profound. The lighthouse blinks approval when your laughter lifts the spray. Stockings hold the shoreline where the cold forgets to stay. A ferry horn salutes us as the dusk unhooks the day. We button up the ocean and we take the longest way. A seashell in your pocket hums a ballroom made of foam. The pier leaves splinters in our palms we'll carry home. We toss a coin to winter with a wish for warmer loam, and stitch the wind to stockings as we wander, salt and chrome. The radio between the stations fills with woolly snow. We lie across the carpet where the faulty sockets glow. I trace a circle on your knee that only we could know. You hum an ancient pop song no one else would slow. Outside the traffic murmurs like a faucet left ajar. Our neighbors toast to something with the rattle of a jar. You say the world is louder than a downtown dive bar. I say the quiet we can make could be a little star. Honey, in the static, when you say my name, it travels like a lighthouse through the interference game. You smile like you forgive me for a sin I couldn't tame, then press a sugar mercy on my mouth and take the blame. Talk about the days we lost to watch the ceiling fan spinning like a parlor trick that never had a plan. I list the saints of laundromats and ticket stubs and tan receipts that prove we tried to be a softer kind of clan. You pull the quilt up to our chins and hold the still. We count to 3, then 2, then 1, and let the thunder spill. The power flickers once or twice. We don't believe it will abandon us to candles and to ghosts that windows fill. By morning, dust like fireflies is dancing in the beams. The radio surrenders to a clearer voice that seems to sing the very thing we said inside our midnight dreams. Honey in the static, gold between our seams. We tune the dial to wonder till the city clicks away. A filament of honey keeps the darkest doubts at bay. When fuses fail, your whisper is the small returning day. And static holds us softly like a gold and silver spray. They're stacked in wooden crates, a summer held in wool. The grocer says they traveled nights to make this city full. We buy the ripest too, and let our pockets pull at coats that keep the season from our tender, greedy skull. Back home the radiator clanks like pots in distant trains. We lean against the windowsill and count the window panes. Your fingers thaw my knuckles with the citrus that remains from childhood afternoons and porches after rains. I cut the peach and spill a sun upon a plate. You taste it from my wrist and say that heaven can be late. That sweetness isn't calendar, but patience at the gate. I lick the golden rivers, we are almost scared to stay. Outside a child is sculpting angels in the slush. We leave a tip for weather in the jar of evening's hush. You wear a sweater huge enough to make an armored brush. I make a mercy of your sleeves and plan a gentle crush. If sorrow is a season, let it borrow from these fruits. Let it soften round the edges, let it sprout forgiving shoots. We'll can a dozen memories in honey bright pursuits and open them at midnight when the coldest warning hoots. We label jars for August though the calendar is frost. Each peach becomes a lantern for the hours we have lost. Radiator psalms forgive the wintry double cross, and warmth runs down our spines like cordial at low cost. A knife of kitchen sunlight slides across the sugared skin. The stone keeps summer's kernel like a secret locked within. We warm our hands in mittens of each other, kin to kin, and write our names on frosted glass before the trucks begin. You braided quiet into my hair with ribbon made of dusk. Set the gramophone to spin a swing of amber musk. Cut a halo out of paper from a cereal box's husk. Pinned it to my head and called me brave and just. The kettle sang a little grief, a porcelain refrain. You wrote your favorite future in the fog upon the pane. Said every saint is tired and every sinner rain. We held our breath to hear the silverware complain. Grocery star and one more tender string. You laugh and crown me anyway, a fragile, fearless thing. We walk into the morning light to see what vows will bring. There's a hotel key in the ashtray, glazed in nicotine and gold, sunk like a coin in amber, kept for keeping what we told. Curtains heavy as a winter coat, someone forgot to fold. A bedside Bible underlined in lipstick, brave and bold. Your shoes point to the exit, mine face the little bar. Ice melts in a bucket like a minor falling star. I learn your your favorite silence in the stripes of window scar, and map the city on your chest, a glowing reservoir. The elevator coughs up laughter from the wedding down the hall. We swear we'll crash it later with our perfume and a shawl, but velvet finds our ankles like a low tide kind of call, and we become a secret etched into the peeling wall. Room numbers blink like Morse code, pleading please return. I blow on dice you never roll and watch the corners burn. You say you left your watch at home to let the minute learn how long a breath can hold a love, how slow a world can turn. Housekeeping floats by morning with a symphony of keys. I gather up your cologne from the pillow's faded crease. We make a bed of warnings and of tender, stubborn pleas, then sign the register with names we'll never use again with ease. There's a checkout at 11 and a promise at 2, but time keeps pulling sheets off everything we knew. The ashtray gleams with secrets and a rented point of view. I pocket that small metal moon and leave with part of you. The ashtray keeps its meteor, a brass and borrowed star. We breathe the last blue smoke and leave the door ajar. Checkout slips like silk from hands that learned how brief we are. I pocket one small orbit and it follows from afar. A telegram arrives in ink the color lovers choose. It says the weather turns to silk, where we will meet to lose. The clerk adjusts his spectacles as if he could refuse, but velvet blue persuades the day to buckle at the news. I buy a carnation, bruise it with my ring, tie it to my wrist so I remember what I bring. You wait beneath a mural where the pigeons crown a king, and let the traffic write a score we know we shouldn't sing. The phone booth holds a whisper, nickel and a vow. I dial your memory carefully and listen to the now. Your voice is like a matchbook from a bar that's burning slow. I strike it on my teeth to see the thoughts you let me know. We walk the boulevard where mannequins look bored, discuss the angle jealousy has sharpened on a sword. You say devotion tastes like salt the hungry mouth adored. I say it tastes like citrus rind a winter night is stored. The telegram keeps humming in the lining of my coat. I press it to my sternum like a secret little boat. If love is freight, then let it be the steel we let to float across the bridge where shadows keep a ledger of each note. A blue velvet telegram, a script we didn't write, yet every letter fits your wrists and keeps me warm tonight. I fold it into tiny squares and tuck it out of sight, where it will never fade and never ask us to be right. When the streetlights fall apart, you press your palm to mine to make the voltage start, and telegram the night with love's electric velvet They're stacked in wooden crates, a summer held in wool. The grocer says they traveled nights to make this city full. We buy the ripest too and let our pockets pull at coats that keep the season from our tender, greedy skull. Back home the radiator clanks like pots in distant trains. We lean against the windowsill and count the window panes. Your fingers thaw my knuckles with a citrus that remains from childhood afternoons and porches after rains. I cut the peach and spill a sun upon a plate. You taste it from my wrist and say that heaven can be laid. That sweetness isn't calendar, but patience at the gate. I lick the golden rivers we are almost scared to state. Outside a child is sculpting angels in the slush. We leave a tip for weather in the jar of evening's hush. You wear a sweater huge enough to make an armored brush. I make a mercy of your sleeves and plan a gentle crush. If sorrow is a season, let it borrow from these fruits. Let it soften round the edges, let it sprout forgiven shoots. We'll can a dozen memories cordial at low cost. A knife of kitchen sunlight slides across the sugared skin. The stone keeps summer's kernel like a secret locked within. We warm our hands in mittens of each other, kin to kin, and write our names on frosted glass before the trucks begin. The rain invents a drumline on the market's canvas tent. I buy a pear for sweetness and forgive the way it bent. You tilt a red umbrella like an oath that heaven sent. We hide beneath its radius, a temporary event. The cobblestones are inked with letters bleeding through. A florist wraps a lightning bolt in paper green and blue. We pass a bus stop sermon where a stranger swears we knew that love is simply shelter, yet it drenches people to you. You sip a paper cup of tea, the lid a shaky crown. Steam makes halos in the air and tries to settle down. I kiss the little raindrops from your collar's velvet brown and let the city wash our names and wear them like a gown. A violinist busks beneath a statue's copper gaze. He plays a salt wet tango that sets the morning ablaze. We sway at pedestrian lights that count in stubborn haze, and share the kind of glances that the storm itself will praise. Your mascara draws a river, midnight on your skin. I catch a drop on fingertips and hide it like a sin. You tell me storms are truthful, they refuse to even grin. I say I feel most honest when the thunder lets me in. Red umbrella over us, a planet we can steer. I'd trade 1,000 summers for this loud translucent year, when weather folds around our breath and makes the map appear. We walk until the gutters sing and all the streets are clear. Gutters ride a cadence only storm-lit lovers know. We steer our red small planet through the boulevards of glow, and thunder signs the ledger. We approve it very slow and stamp the rain with mouth to mouth to certify the flow. The bar is lined with portraits of the singers time forgot. Their eyes are made of brass and blue, their mouths are lacquered nard. You order something bitter with a citrus twist I spot. I write my name on napkins like a sail that will not rot. A trumpet smokes in shadows, the drummer counts in rain. The bartender polishes a doubt, then sets it down again. Our elbows touch like strangers on a fast and breathing train. I read the fortune in your pulse and mispronounce your pain. There are lipstick ghosts on glasses, pink and ruby thin. They kiss the rims and fade away like little vinyl sins. You tilt the light to catch them, say that love begins where someone leaves a mark that wants a mouth to spin. We talk about the middle parts of movies no one saw, the ways an evening puzzles itself into a law. How longing isn't fire, but a silk that wants a floor to snag against and bruise a heart that won't accept its draw. The jukebox clicks a memory and spills a honey hymn. I taste the rind of oranges and learn your quiet grim. You laugh into the glass and blur the edges to the brim, then leave a coral orbit on the moon I'll never dim. Closing time arranges chairs like soldiers in a row. We step outside, the neon coughs a coral aching glow. Your number on a coaster lifts a wind I didn't know. I keep the ghosts and follow where the street lights wanna go. The alley takes our footsteps like a vinyl taking grooves. You tuck the coaster number where the midnight softly proves. Lipstick ghosts keep orbiting the bar in quiet moves. I follow through the wet neon where every rumor soothes. Stray light wets the asphalt, a lacquer midnight skin. Taxi doors like brittle wings, the night keeps folding in. Neon writes our names in cursive on the tin. I taste the ocean flashing in the gutters spin. High heels make cathedral echoes under scaffolds slow. You balance on a parking line like tightrope made of snow. We share a cigarette that burns as if it knows that smoke can parallel the rise and fall of throats. We talk about the constellations printed in the grime, how every traffic cone is praying for its time. I kiss the winter from your wrist and steal your climb, spill salt from paper packets as if seasoning a rhyme. A liquor store is humming with fluorescent lullabies. We buy a cherry soda A billboard of a perfume spills a garden on the rain. Your jacket smells like cedar jet, fuel and champagne. I learn your pulse by counting alleyways, refrain. Each beat another lighthouse on a dark Atlantic plain. Neon salt on my tongue, a brighter wanting more. I lick the night from fingertips and lean against your door. If morning is a verdict, let it sleep upon the floor. I'll keep the ocean in my mouth and taste you like the shore. Taxi routes like sequins drift across the soda sky. Neon salts the boulevard and dares the thirst to try. Your breath is winter citrus when you lean a little sly. We keep the night between our teeth and never let it dry. The beach is made of silver when the winter dims the noon. I wear your coat and stockings underneath the salt blue moon. The gulls arrange like orchestras, the water hums a tune. We walk the pier with hands that hold the ache of quickened June. Your laughter is a scarf that saves my shoulders from the chill. We trace our names with driftwood and pretend that time is still. I kiss the salt from collarbones and make the ocean spill. A whisper only lovers and the patient clams can fill. A lighthouse blinks its eyelid like a tired party host. We drink from thermos coffee like a sacramental toast. You say that love is tidal, that surrender feels the most when low tide shows the treasures that the moon forgot to boast. We spread a coat upon a bench and let the wind be rude. You tuck my hair behind my ear the way the brave have sued. For tenderness in weather that the city misconstrued. Low tide and lingerie and nothing to intrude. By dusk the ferry rides a line of pearls across the sound. We fold the map of footprints where our promises were found. The cold makes saints of wardrobes and of every careful bound. We carry heat between us like a contraband profound. The lighthouse blinks approval when your laughter lifts the spray. Stockings hold the shoreline where the cold forgets to stay. A ferry horn salutes us as the dusk unhooks the day. We button up the ocean and we take the longest way. A seashell in your pocket hums a ballroom made of foam. The pier leaves splinters in our palms we'll carry home. We toss a coin to winter with a wish for warmer loam and stitch the wind to stockings as we wander. Salt and chrome. You braided quiet into my hair with ribbon made of dusk. Set the gramophone to spin a swing of amber musk. Cut a halo out of paper from a cereal box's husk. Pinned it to my head and called me brave and just. The kettle sang a little grief, a porcelain refrain. You wrote your favorite future in the fog upon the pane. Said every saint is tired and every sinner rain. We held our breath to hear the silverware complain. I kept the matches hidden near the flour and the salt. You tapped them like a telegraph, refusing to exalt. The toast popped up like warnings from a softer fault, and butter drowned the edges, warm and spun with malt. We argued over angels and the weight of velvet ropes. You drew a card of lovers from a deck of smoky hopes. I dealt the queen of winter and a palace made of slopes. We skated on the kitchen tiles like half-forgiven tropes. Your collar smelled of thunder, your sleeve of distant trains. I tasted old confessions in the honey of your veins. We counted fallen lentils like the year's impatient grains, and let the radio be holy in its stuttering domains. My paper halo bent and tore when you began to sleep. I patched it with a grocery list and something soft and cheap. If faith is featherlight, then why is this climb so steep? I tucked the crown beneath the bed and promised not to weep. The paper halo crinkles when the kettle learns to sing. I tape it with a grocery star and one more tender string. You laugh and crown me anyway, a fragile, fearless thing. We walk into the morning light to see what vows will bring. Your kitchen smells of syrup and a vinyl station late. You wipe a scarlet thumbprint from a coffee cup of slate. The DJ names a city where the lovers congregate. We nod as if attendance were a vow we'd replicate. A jar of cherries bleeds upon a cutting board of wood. I taste the stain and lick my lips and say it tastes like good. You laugh and say that flavor is a scandal if it should. Remind me of a kindness someone else misunderstood. The radio plays so that makes the curtains want to dance. We slow our hips and let the small appliances take stance. A timer ticks, a metronome that blues would call romance. I count the freckles on your arm like miles of second chance. We talk about the letters that we never meant to send. They sit in drawers with paper clips that think they are a friend. You peel a lonesome sticker from a jar that had an end and place it on my wrist to mark the ache we never spent. By evening, cherry pits are galaxies in glass. We clink the spoon against the rim to let the minutes pass. The DJ plays a ballad that could solder broken brass. Dark cherry radio makes sorrow sweet at last. The DJ fades to whispers and the kitchen learns to hush. A cherry stain on collarbone becomes a winter blush. We slow dance with the refrigerator's sympathetic rush and let the chorus crown us with a simple holy hush. The late informer hoe glows like snow behind a veil. A spoon rings crystal once to mark our rosy tale. Syrup on your tongue becomes a vow that will not fail. We dim the light and let the chorus write us in its scale. Sheets on the clothesline, ghosting in the moon. Floodlights from the ballpark paint a trembling noon. You pin a corner to my sleeve and hum a crooked tune and say that even laundry holds a secret we'll call soon. Your laugh is warm detergent, jasmine, lemon peel. I make a tent of cotton where the air can kneel. We two become a summer that the crickets wanna steal and kiss between the pillowcases, soft enough to heal. The neighborhood is murmurs and a radio of blues. A moth is doing ballet on the porch light snooze. I drink your silhouette and every quiet bruising and vow to wash the hours till they fit the life we choose. We talk about a city we could build from rope and thread, where promise is a clothesline strung from roof to bed, where even rain is careful how it touches what we said. In every gust of wind returns the buttons we have shed. You twirl a wooden clothespin like a saint with tiny wings. Clip my wandering thoughts before the longing stings. We sway with cotton galaxies and house-made holy things in linen floodlights, tender as the song a locust sings. At midnight, when the ballpark dims and moths begin to sleep, we take the sheets inside like a vow that we will keep. Lie down in like forgiveness, laundered bright and deep. A moth becomes a pendulum, the porch light cannot teach. We fold a universe of sheets a fingertip can reach. Floodlights fade to lavender behind the stadium speech. We sleep in clean forgiveness like a tide along the beach. The platform breaks the snow into obedient straight lines. The thermos balances between our knees like secret wines. We board the quiet carriage where the map of sleeping shines, and write in fog-on windows all the almost and the signs. Your suitcase sighs, a weary thing with stickers, ports, and prayers. You lean against my shoulder like a city saying fares. We speak in codes of station clocks and bridges, Ferris stairs, and promise not to promise once we reach the county fairs. The train begins a lullaby in iron, coal, and heat. We list the future cities like a necklace, soft and sweet. You draw a tiny heart upon the ticket's numbered sheet and kiss it just in case the conductor feels our beat. Night train to your name, I count the syllables like lights. They pass like little lighthouses across the folded nights. I vow to follow even when the tunnel swallows sights, and hold you when the rhythm makes our vows new appetites. Clattering tags, we step out into winter where the station proudly brags that lovers always travel well on rails and woolen flags. The whistle carves a canyon in the frozen midnight air. We rub our thumbs on ticket stubs to call the courage there. The carriage rocks a cradle where our guarded hopes repair. Night train to your name arrives and finds us both prepared. Mileposts tick like metronomes through towns that sleep in rows. We list the lullabies of places no one knows. A baggage rack holds raincoats and the dreams that travel close, and dawn pours orange honey where the snowbank slowly glows. Ooh. found a single rose thorn in the fold where cheeks have slept. It pricked my fingertip as if the dark itself had wept. You smiled a little guilty, said the florist must have kept a secret stitched in ribbons where the fragile roses crept. Our bed, a white museum of the nights we tried to mend. We make a temporary truce with cotton as a friend. I promise to be gentler when the long hours bend. You promise to be honest even when they never end. I kiss the crescent shadow where your eyelash softly lies. We talk about the morning and its difficult goodbyes. You tuck my hair behind my ear and shelter both my eyes from daylight's quick insistence and its bossy little spies. The coffee stains the newspaper with rumors of a war. We shield our quiet kingdom with a trembling bedroom door. Thorns on the pillowcase remind me what we swore, to tend each other's gardens with a patience never poor. When afternoon grows lavender and traffic starts to moan, we pick the rose apart and plant each petal like a bone. In books we loved and shoes we wore and pockets we have known, so fragrance follows everywhere we dare to be alone. We rinse the thorn in rose water and hide it in a glass. The linen keeps the lesson as the softer hours pass. You smooth the sheet and promise me the morning will be class, and every tender danger we will sweetly let a mess. We sew a softer seam with thread the color of relief. A thimble crowns your finger like a tiny silver leaf. The window learns to open to a new and forgiving brief, and breeze replaces nightmares with a linen-scented chief. Ooh. A fountain wears a helmet made of plastic cafeteria trays. The marble queens have bubble gum and pigeons for bouquets. You twirl your scarf like opera in the subway's silver haze, and dare the clouds to loosen up their tight, expensive stays. Wind patrols the boulevard like officers of grief. The umbrellas turn to acrobats and alleyways to reef. I take your elbow, call the storm a glamorous belief, and kiss the water dripping from your mouth's unbuttoned leaf. We stand in line for pastries hot and fragile from hand. Steam is writing cursive on the glass like any plan. You choose the one with sugared snow that cannot understand how hands ache from the weather long before they touch a hand. The bus arrives with stories smeared across its foggy face. A child counts the stoplights as a talismanic brace. We find a seat and let the city tumble into lace, and share the napkin folded like a swan that knows its place. You say you used to practice pirouettes upon a rug and fall into the sofa like a well-meaning hug. I say I learned devotion from a coffee cup I lug across 3 flights of ancient stairs to spill and kiss the mug back. Evening sidewalks glitter with the confetti of the day. We read the leftover headlines we can't bear to obey. The storm becomes a ballroom and the city lets us sway. A swan in heavy weather taught our stubborn hearts the way. We trail the tram lines, glitter like a ribbon through the rain. Pastry flakes on mittens prove the tender still remain. A swan of breath between us calms the siren's iron brain, and every storm we weather turns a sidewalk into plain. Barefoot on the corridor marble, the ice machine humming low. Lipstick drying on a paper napkin shaped like a bow. You left your sweater like a whisper on the chandelier's glow. I keep the window cracked to hear the river's undertow. A key card flickers green then red like jealous traffic lights. I press my cheek to cool glass and swallow city nights. Your name fogs up the pain, dissolving into heights. Somebody laughs on the street, I practice off to bite. The elevator dings a hymn in chrome and velvet shade. I trace the hem of dawn where your shadow used to fade. Room service cloche, a silver moon that never stayed. Coffee tastes like winter hands and promises we made. My dress remembers every hallway we once crossed. Perfume clings to curtain pleats, a map of what we lost. I count the stitches in the dark to tally up the cost. The mirror keeps my secrets, but the mirror's edge is frost. You said love was slower than a needle dropping rain. I said love is faster than a rumor on a train. We met between those tempos like a sultry hidden lane. Now time keeps licking at the wounds it cannot drain. Velvet after midnight, velvet at my throat. A soft float. The key card hums a lullaby to river-lacquered lamps. My wrists keep velvet ribbons from the city's brighter clamps. We take the stairs with morning shoes and half-forgiven stamps, and let the hallway swallow us like gentle glowing camps. The alley makes a chapel with its crooked metal spine. A puddle keeps a galaxy of signage in a line. You light a stubborn match and bless the evening's wine. We share a smoke that stitches both our breathing intertwined. Thumbnail over warehouses and cranes. Someone hums a lullaby about mistakes and trains. Your coat is velvet asphalt, your hair a ribbon plains. I count the ways your mouth invents perfumes from the rain. We talk of little mischiefs we have kept in dresser drawers, of postcards from the places where the night forgets its floors. You say you like the sound of keys rehearsing other doors. I say I like the quiet that remembers how it roars. A black cat does a pirouette around your rain-soaked boots. We build a tiny orchestra from bottles, bricks, and flutes. I taste the smoke on syllables and plant a row of shoots where hope could grow in concrete cracks and sweetly hoard its fruits. Your fingers smell of cedar and a cafe down on Third. I memorize the commas in each complicated word. The thunder keeps its distance like a secret never heard, and lightning like a camera makes us saints without a church. The cigarette goes lunar, the filter stained with kiss. We drop it in the puddle where reflections write us this. Perfume rain keeps falling, steady, merciless. I take your arm and vow to always walk you through abyss.